Okay, let's get started. Welcome to the webcast today on introducing Autodesk Assemble. My name is Jatin, and I am the AEC Tech Consulting Lead here at VinZero. In this webinar, we will learn how Autodesk Assemble allows anyone to condition, query, and connect BIM data to key workflows, including design reviews, takeoffs, estimating, and change management. By utilizing these key workflows, we can reduce risk and improve efficiencies during project planning and execution. We will be going through a live demo presenting some of these features in Assemble as well. And as always, we'll have a quick Q&A session at the end. Before we get to the main topics, just a brief overview of what VinZero is and does. We're a solutions organization that fosters innovation through delivering software and hardware solutions, consulting, training, development, and managed services. We've become a trusted advisor to our clients due to the breadth and depth of our service offering and technical expertise, our commercial agility, and understanding of customer service. We have an excellent ANZ footprint with offices in large parts of Australia and New Zealand. We're actually one of the largest Autodesk partners in the world and considered by businesses we deal with to be a trusted advisor. We offer services such as data management, BIM implementation, consulting services, CAD management services, on-site and online training, and customized content creation. The majority of VinZero A2K staff are all from the industry, so we understand the challenges our clients face, and therefore we can deliver solutions through a combination of experience and innovation. A little bit about me. My name is Jatin Sharma. I have over 7 years experience in the AEC industry as a BIM manager, designer, and technical instructor. Currently, my role at VinZero A2K is that of a AEC Tech Consulting Lead, and my software skills include AutoCAD, Revit, the Autodesk Construction Cloud, Navisworks, Format, 3ds Max, and Assemble. Okay, so for today's discussion, we're going to first start by digging into some of the current challenges that BIM teams face in the construction industry. Then we'll discuss how having a common data environment along with the Assemble solution can help leverage BIM data to really bridge the gap with some of those challenges that we face in the construction industry. Then we'll get into a live demo of Assemble in action. And lastly, like I said before, we'll have a Q&A session to answer any questions that you have that you're throwing in the chat box throughout the discussion. So if we dig into the construction industry, it's actually one of the most collaborative businesses in the world, sometimes taking up to hundreds of different companies to put a building up or a bridge up. Despite this, the data and information exchange within the construction industry remains fragmented. Okay, these fragmented workflows affect projects from start all the way to the end. You think about how many times have you had field teams work on incomplete or imperfect information from pre-construction teams? What was the impact on that on your projects, right? This fragmentation of data has a huge and direct impact on the project outcomes across all levels of the organization. Teams are disconnected and working from outdated information due to them using multiple different apps or even a complete lack of digital adoption, leading to loads of wasted time and security issues due to unnecessarily people on the job site. On a project level, the disconnection between the office and the field accounts for massive avoidable rework, which impacts project cost, quality, delivery time, and profitability. And there's a massive impact at the business level as well, right? Unused and lost project data is hugely reducing potential opportunities such as portfolio visibility. The construction industry is urging for a more connection from people all the way to data, and obviously technology plays a key role within this opportunity. So to address the issues around fragmented workflows and connecting people and data and technology, we often bring up BIM, right? So first of all, what is BIM? So if we think about it at a high level, BIM is a process for creating and managing information on a construction project throughout its whole life cycle, right? So this process is known to effectively address the key issues we've just highlighted within the construction industry. So why do firms shy away from it? When we talk to our clients, the following reasons come up in our discussions time and time again, okay? The first up, lack of access to design tools. Not everyone that needs to engage with the BIM data has access to things like Revit, AutoCAD, Navisworks. It's just not possible, and they might only need it once or twice within a project lifetime. The lack of BIM knowledge. So even if these individuals or teams had access, there's a lack of understanding of BIM in those departments. Model authoring tools can be complicated as well, particularly, like I say, things like Revit. There's limited resourcing as well. So BIM teams are often supporting multiple different stakeholders and multiple projects, and you really don't want this BIM team to become the bottleneck, okay? The model sometimes lacks construction data. We often hear that the design model lacks the data the extended teams need to be able to utilize the model for downstream workflows such as WBS parameters, activity IDs, installation dates, etc., etc. Of course, there's always multiple design iterations. So change is one constant thing in construction. Teams are often faced with multiple changes throughout the project. It can be really difficult to identify the changes from one version to another without the right solution. And for the field teams, the field teams often don't benefit from the model directly because they're left with workflows rooted in 2D and manual processes, where a 3D view of a model can do wonders for them to better understand project complexities whilst they're on site. The BIM and VDC teams really struggle to find a seamless and easy way to truly empower their extended teams so that they can turn all of this BIM data into actionable information to make more informed decision. Unfortunately, many of the design tools are desktop-based and they're quite complex to use, right? And not to mention the manual tasks involved with static documents and spreadsheets, which are tedious, time-consuming, and can cause delays or mistakes. If we take a look at all of this, this is where the Autodesk Construction Cloud and Assemble can help, okay? So at a high level, the Autodesk Construction Cloud connects data, workflows, and teams throughout the entire building lifecycle, from design to operations across the headquarters, office, and job sites, right? And Assemble, which is within the Autodesk Construction Cloud, leverages this common data environment within ACC and powers BIM and VDC workflows from design all the way to handover. Whether your team needs a robust cloud-based BIM data management tool for your office or the field, or you need to leverage conditioned model quantities to power your 4D, 5D, or 6D workflows, Assemble is the perfect solution in the market at the moment. So let's take some time to look at some of these capabilities and workflows which are supported, like I say, within this common data environment. So it's important to see how information is currently fragmented, okay? So here I've got a really good graphic. It's a simplified view of how teams typically exchange information on a project, right? we know that many of you deal with this reality today, this form of fragmented source of truth. The proposal around the Autodesk Construction Cloud is having this common data environment, that single source of truth. With a CDE, the information flows through a central repository where ideally it's more easily controlled and up to date. The CDE provides mechanisms to gate information flow so that construction documents and other information such as markups and issues are only available when appropriate. And when you combine this with Autodesk Docs and all these other platforms within the Autodesk Construction Cloud, you have functionalities such as permissions, audit trails, issue tracking, dashboards, naming standards, status and revision, upload and naming enforcement, and check, review, and approval workflows. By having all this functionality and having this environment where information is controlled and up to date, we can push this into Assemble to empower our extended team, okay, into Assemble. So what is Assemble, right? So at a high level, Assemble is an extremely powerful model conditioning and BIM data management solution that sits in the cloud that enables BIM teams to organize, customize, and share model information to all other project stakeholders for a variety of different downstream workflows, your field team, your construction team, subcontractors, etc., etc. So let's go through its main capabilities, right? With the new connection between Assemble and Autodesk Docs, so we talk about the Autodesk Construction Cloud, we're now able to connect this great Assemble solution to a common data environment. We can take the published models created by the design teams in the cloud and then bring them straight into Assemble to make all of that BIM data accessible to everyone, regardless of whether they used Revit or Civil 3D or Navisworks or even IFC. You can push the models straight from the design authoring tools as well, if you want to, into Assemble. So you have both options. Assemble has, like I said before, has a power to consume a variety of different model types. Again, whether it's Civil 3D, Navisworks, IFC, AutoCAD, Revit, you can use the Assemble Publisher add-in to push those models into the web environment if you need to. Okay, so it's accessible now to everyone, not just your design teams or your traditional BIM teams. Assemble facilitates model conditioning and data exchange for user-defined properties without the need to create the parameters in Revit, right? This is key because now you're not relying on design teams or the BIM manager to update or change information within the model that can easily be done by the extended team, which is mitigating a huge bottleneck that we talked about earlier. It's also really easy to condition a model with information and organize a model in the way that you want to see it. And you could even standardize it for your on-site field teams as well if they want to view it on their iPad. Okay. You can also automatically visualize in color using any properties, and we'll show that within the demo stage as well. Within Assemble, you can easily visualize the project scope and complexities in 3D, whether it's on your desktop, your iPad, phone, or laptop. It's easy to create shared views relevant to workflows and scopes. So for example, you could create a 3D view that's based on a wall takeoff and have it available to everyone, including your field teams on site. Again, I'll show that in the demo shortly. Assemble lets you easily group, sort, and filter your quantities. You can organize your bid packages and have it ready for your estimating solution. You can organize the inventory by color to manage WBS. You can manage your estimates, schedules, and you can even, if you want to, connect it to your 5D workflows as well. Of course, we were talking about change management before. When a new model version gets released, Assemble runs a variance which graphically shows what parts of the model have been added, deducted and changed in terms of quantity and design. In addition, you can track any model properties, so things like area, length, or weight. Assemble lets you dive into 4D workflows as well. So if your field teams, they could be on site with their iPad and actually connect their project schedule with the model, and so they can actually see a breakdown of what areas should have been finished by now, what are still pending, etc., etc. And field teams comes back again, so they can easily evaluate risks by exploring the project in 3D to understand complexities that sometimes get missed within a 2D document. There's an there's an offline option as well to provide quick access to views created by the VDC or BIM team, right? So they can create these views and have it available for the extended team as well. And finally, reporting, which is always huge, being able to understand where projects are at and what areas are at risk. With the Power BI integration, you can grab all of the data from Assemble and create powerful dashboards to report either at a project level or an executive level. Okay, so we've talked about it, so let's see it in action. So I'm going to bring up Assemble. Okay, that's my screen over here. This is the Assemble web page. Again, this is a cloud product, so no desktop installations or anything of that required. You can see indicatively, I've got my projects over here and I've got two cards. So I've got two projects going on at the moment. If you've seen my webinars before, you know that I really like using the ACC demo project sandbox. So feel free to check out all the other webinars we've done on this topic as well. So if we take a look at this little symbol here, we can see that it's actually connected to the Autodesk Construction Cloud, to that common data environment. So if I go into this ACC demo project, this one here, perfect. So it goes into the project view. Okay. On the left-hand side, I've got models, which are connected to the Autodesk Construction Cloud. I'll show that connection shortly in just a second. Then we've got views that I've created just now, and I've got an activity log on this side here of all the stuff people have been doing within this project within Assemble. Okay. And so if I go up here to edit project, you can see this is the project name. If I want to, I could give it a job code, a description, etc., etc. You can set the project units, but over here on this right-hand side, it's saying that it's actually linked to the ACC demo project sandbox. So if I click on this, it's going to take me to the Autodesk Construction Cloud straight into our common data environment. So as I've kind of said in my slides, you've got your design teams, all these different workflow processes happening. You've got your models being produced. And when they're ready, all I'm doing is taking, for example, this architectural model and pushing it straight into my Assemble environment. If I ever need to add an extra model, I can just click on this Add or Update Models. And it will always tell me if a model is up to date. So if there has been changes, I can just simply update, and it's going to give me all those changes if I want to. Okay, so from here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to view the architectural model first, and then we can get into the others. Okay. What I might do is I might just turn on shaded with edges. So this is our 3D model, okay? That's taken from our common data environment. So you can see I didn't need Revit. I didn't need any other software tool. It all opens up within Assemble. I've got a list of all the quantities and the units already been calculated just within the cloud automatically as soon as we publish the model. And without even doing anything else, I could literally click on everything here and start an estimate if I wanted to, just straight within the web browser. on this left-hand side, I've got my model tree, which is going through all of the different categories within this architectural model. If I wanted to, I could put my services model and my structural model. I could literally open up this tab and have them be federated in this area as well, if I wanted to. Okay, so it's a nice, easy way of being able to view all the information you need to all in one space. I'm just going to get rid of services for now. So if I zoom in, I'm actually just going to get rid of the inventory section and take a look at this 3D model. So what I might do first is just go through some basic functionality. I might turn on the section tool here, and I might just turn on sectioning and just bring this down. So you can easily see I'm able to just now section this out and take a look at what's going on within this model. I can pan in and out, rotate. And if I want to do a quick check of some measurements, I can do that as well. So I can go up here to my measure tool. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of that. And I could literally zoom in and just take a quick measurement just to double check and see what's going on here. Okay, so I can take a quick measurement. I could copy this onto a clipboard and keep moving on. I can take another measurement if I wanted to, perhaps of, let's see, what's another fun one of this desk. Okay, and it's just as easy as that. If I need to change units, I can do that if I want to as well. And once I'm done doing some quick measurements, just to double check if it's all okay, I can just go remove all and get rid of those annotations. So from here, what I want to do is I want to go through a proper workflow. So let's go through a wall takeoff workflow. So I've got my 3D model. And so the first thing I want to do is I kind of want to get rid of everything except for walls. So I just want to see walls so I can begin my takeoff process. And there's multiple ways of doing that, but the easiest way is to go up here into visibility settings, okay, adding in a simple rule and just say all I want to see is walls. This is the only thing I want you to show me. If I wanted to, I could add other category names if I want to. And then when I'm done, I just hit the update button. And when I hit the update button, it's going to show me nothing but walls. I can bring back my inventory and I can see the full quantity takeoff of all the different walls in this project. This is really, really powerful, yeah? Because if I was using Revit and I had this model open, a person within the BIM sphere knows, yes, I can go into Revit, I can click on one of the walls and then click on select all. But if you talk about our field teams or people that don't use Revit, they'll have no idea. They'll ask the BIM team to be able to send them a view or send them something that resembles something like this so that they can verify their takeoff information. But now, with a simple couple of clicks, it's available for them to be able to use them. They haven't opened up Revit. They don't need to know anything about Revit or Civil 3D or AutoCAD or any of that. From here, if I wanted to, I could make things a little bit simpler for myself. And I'm going to show you the next really, really cool functionality, right? And that's something called color by property. Okay, so what a symbol is doing here with color by property is that it's reading all of the information in this model and then automatically creating colorings based on properties. Okay, so if I turn this on, I can say I want to color all of these walls by their function. Okay, so I'm going to say function. I want a symbol to color this model based on the function of the walls. So now very easily I can see whether the functions of these walls are appropriate according to their color, right? If you had to do this, again, I'm going to use Revit as an example. If you had to do this in Revit, you actually have to create a filter for every single property before you can do this. You can use like a Dynamo script, but that's going to take way too long and it's going to be really difficult. This is all about empowering anyone to be able to utilize the information within the model. So just within a couple clicks, I'm able to see things, for example, by function. If I wanted to, I could change this to say by type mark instead. And it's going to go ahead and give me all the colorings for type mark. And now if I wanted to, I can easily see what are the ones that haven't been assigned a type mark and make edits to them. Again, without having to open up Revit, without any knowledge of what this all means, it's easy for me to be able to get the information I need. Okay. From here, if I wanted to, I could start with some quantity takeoffs. I can create an estimate. And what I might also do is I might actually save this as a view. So I might save this as a wall takeoff view, and I might save this. So now this is always available to not just me, but my extended team as well. So I could have been working on something else, like I might jump to another view now where it's going and grabbing all that information from this particular overall view. So I could be working on this, I could be doing this one thing or another, and I need to switch back to my wall takeoff view. I can simply just click on this view again, and it's available for me, right? And if you imagine if you're on your iPad or you're on site, they've got this information available to them, right? So if we use another example, so like a basic wall takeoff, obviously we haven't gone through the full process. If you do want to go from start to finish, get in touch with us. We'll be able to walk you through everything within Assemble. So if we take a look at, for example, ducts, that's another popular one. So what I might do is I might just jump into my overall view again. So let's say I wanted to look at all the ducting that's happening within this model, right? I'd go back into my model tree, make sure that my services model was on. So now it's just being federated on top of another without having to worry about using anything like Navisworks, for example. Without using any of these heavy design tools, I'm just having everything on top of each other. So now let's say I want to take a look at all the ducting, right? So I might go into visibility settings and I might say I want to look at ducts. And I might say I want everything that contains ducts, right? And I might just going to hit update. It's going to go ahead, look at the model and show me all that ducting, right? How easy is that? And now if I wanted to take a look at a quantity takeoff for duct accessories, I can simply click on all of them and it's going to give me the count. And if I want to, I can do further inspections. I can change the visibility. I can do cost estimates, etc., etc. Again, if I go color by property, I can perhaps do this something different. Let's go by level. And now you can see very easily, I can see how all the ducts are moving across the different levels to ensure that everything is correct. It's much easier to be able to visualize a model in 3D than have to rely on a 2D sheet. Okay, so let's say, for example, that I was going through this ducting and I knew, let's say I'm a mechanical engineer or someone on site, and I knew that perhaps some additional information needs to be part of this model. So the design team have done their work. We were talking about before about how, you know, the design model sometimes doesn't contain some of the construction information that we would like for on-site teams and for the extended teams. Well, I could click on this duct, and in fact, I could click on all of this type of duct. And what I could do is I could open up the properties, the assemble properties area over here. And what it's now going to do is that it's going to read all of the property information that came from this design model that's now in Assemble, right? And if I wanted to, I could add all of my own Assemble properties. So all these Assemble properties here are user-defined properties that I've created within Assemble, and you can have your own depending on your project needs. And you can add this information in and that can then get propagated back into the design model. So that complaint where we say, well, there's not enough information in the design model. Well, now your extended teams can add that. They can say where it's at in its installation. They can say what location needs to be in. They can give it a cost code. They can give it a bid package. If they wanted to, they could have, when the construction process has begun, when's the expected finish date, when's the actual start date, etc., etc. Whatever properties you want to add, part of your construction process, you can do here. And whilst teams are on site with their iPad, they can just add all that information in, and that will get stored within the actual model. So if I was to send this back into something like Revit, it would have information that we need. Okay. And we were talking about change management as well. So when we talk about change management, we're talking about, well, if the model has been updated since the last time we've done this change, how do we know? Well, we can show that too, right? So we could go into a view. I'm just going to go into an overall view. Yep, just discard all these changes. Okay, so we've got our model here, and let's say that I've come into the office after a month and I wanted to know the changes that have been happening within the design model, and I needed to be aware of them. I would just click on Show Changes up here. And what that would do is that would start the model compare process. So I might say, I want to know from version 3 all the way to version 6. Give me an update on that. So now it's going to read the model, and it's going to tell me that there's about 19,000 things that have been added. There's about 1 element that's been removed. There's about 5 elements where the quantity has changed within that element. And I might be interested in just seeing, for example, the removed and quantity changes. So I'm just going to click on Update. When we do that, the quantities come on the side here, and a version of the model comes over here. Now, initially, it kind of looks slightly disjointed, but that's fine. We just need to toggle Ghost Mode, and it will give us context with regards to the full model. So we can see here in red, what are the things that were removed. We can see in purple, what are the quantities that's been changed. So visually, we're able to see the change. And in terms of quantification, we can see that here as well. So if I take a quick look, I can see that version A, which is the latest version, has got 1.23 in terms of the quantity, and in version 3, there's a difference of 6.27 meters squared, 2.08 meters squared, and there's a gain for this wall. Okay. So we're able to see all these changes very quickly and easily. If I wanted to, if I turn on this ghost mode again, if I find that this, if I get rid of the inventory, that this information is a little bit too much, I can just simply turn on my sectioning and just perhaps bring it down a little bit further. Just turn off show planes to make it nice and simple for me to take a look at. And again, when I'm done checking the changes, I just unselect this, and now it's available for me to be able to move on to the next workflow. So it's a really simple, easy to use tool that anyone can leverage information of. There are other things that you can do as well that connect back to your design team if you want to. So things like being able to link documents, so you can actually go to your ACC environment and link documents back in here. You can also create issues. So if I find that there's a particular issue that needs to be addressed by the design team, like I've got the structural issue here, when I create this issue by clicking on this little plus icon, it will sync and it will pop up in the common data environment under the issues tab over here, which you'll see here. This is that structural issue that was created by me, which is the same issue that's over here. And it takes a snapshot as well. And if you click on the snapshot, it'll go straight to the area for where. So if I was somewhere out here, if I click on this, it's going to take me to the area where I've created that issue. So by using the combination of Assemble and the common data environment of ACC, we're able to connect both design, construction, all the way through handover. And these are just some of the functionalities within Assemble. There's a lot more that you can do. We're consistently surprised at the amount of different workflows that come out every day from people using Assemble. So please get in touch with us so we can go through the entire workflow. This is a webinar, so we've gone over only the fundamental aspects of Assemble.